Ordinarily, when I shoot Unsealed videos, I already know the game or games that I'm going to open up. I have a theme already in mind. A lot of the times, it's going to be because there's a playoff or a special sporting event like the Super Bowl or the World Series or March Madness where I'll have a game relating to that particular sport lined up and ready to open. Other times, there's going to be an anniversary of a game that has personal significance or is just a pretty big deal. Or it might be a game that's being remade or re-released. So I have the original copy of that game and I open it up to celebrate that occasion. But for 2019, the end of the year, I posed the question to Twitter. I asked, giving four choices, which game do they want me to open up? Now, granted, I don't have very many Twitter followers anymore since I blew up my Twitter account. I have a little less than 150. So the poll wasn't going to get a lot of traction, but I wanted a little bit of help, and they did give me some help. So I gave four choices, and this is how it shook down. The first game that didn't get any votes, so I'm not going to be opening this for a little bit, is a game that I picked up at Retro World Expo. It's a sealed game for the PlayStation 2 from 2003. This game is Grandia Extreme. Yes, from the Grandia series, a game I believe that is more dungeon crawling than RPG. I don't know a lot about this, which is another reason why I was curious to get it because I haven't played it. It is one of those games that still has the ID sticker on the top of it. It's a game that at Retro World Expo, the seller was asking $90 for. I didn't pay quite that much because I bought a bunch of sealed games from this particular seller, but no one voted for this. So this one's going back in the pile until 2020. So see ya, Grandia. In third place, a game that received just 14% of the vote is a game that I just picked up recently from eBay. This is Chaos Legion from Capcom, a game that's slightly more than the sticker value here, the Circuit City sticker, but a game that I have some interest in. It's a game that I had that I bought used, but the disc wasn't in the best of shape and the manual wasn't in the best of shape, so I thought it would be a great game to cover on Unsealed and to upgrade the copy that I had. This is a game I believe that plays a lot like Devil May Cry, but unlike DMC, it has a teen rating, so I can talk a little bit more about this one. I was looking forward to opening it, and I thought it might get more traction this time, but again, only 14% of the votes, so this one is out of bounds until 2020. If you love Devil May Cry, you'll love the Chaos Legion. That's what PSM magazine said, but I'll have to wait until later on to find out. In second place, a game that actually was leading the poll until very late is a Super Nintendo game that's sealed from 1995. Yes, we're talking about a game that is 24, soon to be 25 years old. And it's a game from Williams Midway that was published by Acclaim. I am talking about WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. One of the reasons I had this shirt picked out and was wearing it, because again, this game was winning the poll until late. This is a game that I have for the PlayStation originally. I actually have the Super Nintendo cart only. It's a game that was covered in an Angry Video Game Nerd episode. James played, I believe, this very version of the game. So when I found it at Retro World Expo earlier this year, it was a game that I wanted to get to open up. It is not in the best of shape. The box is a little bit crushed and there's a little bit of peeling on the seal. But nonetheless, it's still brand new. It's from 1995 and I love opening Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games just to see what else is in the package. But again, this is going to have to wait, and it's a little disappointing as well because I had another game to open along with it that was a special surprise, but that is going to wait until 2020. So, let's get to the winner, what Twitter picked out for this episode of Unsealed. And for this, we're going to go all the way back to 1998, 21 years ago. This is a game that I knew nothing about when I picked it up for the PlayStation, except for the fact that it had characters that I was familiar with from a series that I was familiar with. But it looked completely different. It was something that I knew nothing about. It is a port of an arcade game that I had never seen before. In fact, I didn't see the arcade game until after I had played this version, and I found the arcade game in a rundown arcade in Springfield, Mass. Called Dream Machine. In fact, that's the same arcade that Tommy Tallarico worked at many, many years ago, but that's a story for another time. I am, of course, talking about 1998's Pocket Fighter from Capcom. This is a game that takes Street Fighter and Darkstalkers characters and super deforms them and simplifies the Street Fighter engine. This is a game that is based on Super Gem Fighter, again the arcade game that I knew very little about. You can also play this in the Street Fighter Alpha anthology as well, if you can find that for the PlayStation 2. So, I got this for Christmas this year. I was very fortunate to get this as a Christmas gift. I was not expecting it because this game is not inexpensive. So the fact that I got this brand new, you can still see the Pocket Fighter seal up there. So I'm very excited to open this. This is a game that I do not have in my collection right now. And I feel bad about that because I actually used to own this game at one time. And when I was living in Arizona in 2009, when I moved out there, I was really short on cash. So I parted with some of my PlayStation games in order to get some money for some Xbox 360 games because I was really poor. And this was one of the games that I parted with because I'm a dummy. But I only had it disc only. Now I have it complete, and I'm excited to open it up. So, Pocket Fighter, we can see some of the screenshots on the back here. The only thing short about these fighters is their temper. Pocket Fighter, it's the most outrageous fighting game ever. Innocent but deadly, these pint-sized champions from Street Fighter and Darkstalkers pack one heck of a punch. Battle to collect power-up gems and duke it out with the most insane attacks and hilarious fighting combos of all time. 12 pint-sized characters from the Street Fighter and Darkstalkers series, including Ryu, Chun-Li, Akuma, Felicia, Morrigan, and more, loaded with surprise Capcom cameos. The world's most outrageous attacks, moves, and combos, and it is an enhanced version of the arcade hit Super Gem Fighter with added modes of play. You can play this either 1 or 2 players, and it is worth 20 Fighter's Edge points. I don't know if you remember the Fighter's Edge system, and you can kind of see that as the background of this particular game. I think Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3 were parts of this. I think Darkstalkers 3 was as well. It was a program that Capcom set up, almost like a loyalty program where you could collect points based on the games you were buying and then use that to get some stuff from their catalog. I thought it was a pretty neat idea. So, without further delay, let's go ahead and try and get this open. I do not know where my scissors are. They are DOA, or they are MIA, I should say. So we're going to try and open this just with fingernails, and we'll see how this goes. I actually got it. So let's go ahead and open this up. I'll try and do this closer to the camera so you can see. And then we'll tilt it. It's always awesome to open titles from this time frame. I've talked a little bit about how 1997 is my favorite year. 1998 is up there as well in terms of favorite years in video gaming, just because of what was going on in my life in 1998, especially the last quarter of 1998. I was working for FunClan at the time. I was really recovering from what had been a down part of my life, so things were turning around for me personally, and I was excited about console gaming. I was refreshed about console gaming at the time and really, really excited. Let's open this up and see what's inside, shall we? When we open this up, there aren't any inserts, but there is a really cool purple artwork CD in there for Pocket Fighter, as well as the instruction manual talking about joining Fighter's Edge and earning killer stuff. That's what we see right there. Yeah, I believe you had to send in this top part here for 20 points. Join the ranks of the world's fighting elite in Capcom's Fighter's Edge program. Collect Fighter's Edge proof of purchase points every time you buy a game to earn all kinds of free cool gear like a t-shirt, hat, skateboard. Now, you cannot imagine me on a skateboard. Sunglasses and other killer stuff. The manual is in black and white. It is not in color. It does give a nice little layout of the controller in case you need to know what some of the moves are, although this game is fairly easy to play. There's just one punch, one kick, and then a special attack button, and the combos are pretty much automatic in this game. It reminds me a lot of how Super Puzzle Fighter 2 looks in terms of the super deformed characters, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I believe that Super Puzzle Fighter 2 and Super Gem Fighter are related because gems are really the form of currency in the game. So there's battle mode here, arcade mode, or battle select, I'm sorry, arcade battle, free battle, running battle. Try and defeat as many of the 12 opponents you can before your strength or time runs out. Training is here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There are different settings and button configurations you can do. Oh, interesting. There's an edit fighter, make a warrior mode here. I did not remember that. That I'll have to kind of check out. That's what's kind of being advertised there. I don't remember that. I'm definitely going to have to check that out when I play this game. There's some cards involved, premium ability cards. There's a quest mode, survival battle. Wow, this is kind of cool. This would have been great for Pocket Station, just saying. Of course, the Pocket Station really never happened here in the US, but nah, I'm not bitter about that personally. There's also a registration card from Capcom in here. We do talk about registration cards on the show. That is what it looks like right there. Who purchased the game? Who plays the game the most? What systems do you own? Remember, this is 1998 now. We have Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation, Saturn, 3DO, PC CD-ROM, Mac CD-ROM, Game Gear, Nomad. Shout out for the Nomad, F in the chat for Nomad, and Nintendo 64. Did you rent this game before purchasing it? I did not, because I really didn't rent very many PlayStation games. Where did you purchase this game? How did you hear about this game? What publications do you read regularly? So we're talking EGM, Game Fan, Game Players, GamePro Next Generation, Dimension, Wired, Spin, Computer Gaming World, PC Gamer, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, or other. Do you have access to online services or the internet? If yes, are you familiar with Capcom's webpage, and what was the main reason the player purchased the game? You did have to put a stamp on this, but that was pretty much par for the course. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. It does show you, and you can see the super deformed look of the characters. I really didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of cutesy, like if you've heard of cute 'em ups like Twinbee, this is kind of like a cute fighter, I guess you would say, with the super deformed characters. And the simplified controls are really easy to kind of get a handle on. You can still do some of the more advanced controls like quarter circle forwards and things like that, but there are still easier modes for less skilled players to get a handle on, and that's what makes the game more accessible. I like this game. I can't help myself. I don't feel embarrassed to say it at all. I like the game. I don't like it a ton. It's not one of my favorite fighting games, but I certainly go around to playing this every now and again. And it's nice to have the PlayStation version of the game that's a bit more enhanced than the arcade port of the game, which is available on Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. So it is nice to have this. Santa Claus was very good to me this year, and I'm very grateful for that. If you have Street Fighter, if you have Pocket Fighter in your own collection, I'd love to hear about your experiences with it, of course. And as always, I thank you very much for watching this and all of my episodes of Unsealed. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have an awesome 2020, and we will see you then. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. See you later.